What's up, guys? Today I wanted to revisit the Galaxy S20 Ultra here. I think it's definitely a slept on flagship, and it's come down in price to around 300 bucks, and I think it's a pretty sweet deal. I can see this phone coming down this year to 260, 270 easily, but it's really cheap, and I think it does a fantastic job with gaming. The reason why I say that is because when I did my gaming test, it was able to play Fortnite, PUBG, and Call of Duty at the 90 FPS or the highest frame rate, which even the Galaxy S22 Ultra is not able to do. So I was just really impressed with gaming performance, but not only that, the phone remains fairly cooler than the Snapdragon 8 series chips as well too. So that's why I really like the Snapdragon 865 chip on here. This phone also does have SD card support as well too, so having that extra expandable storage is really sweet. 128 gigs of internal storage and 12 gigs of RAM on the base model, so it's a pretty sweet device to game on, honestly. And the overall performance of this phone when it comes to just bouncing in and out of applications and just doing anything on this phone is super fast. And like I said, my favorite thing about it is that it doesn't get super hot, and you just have awesome gaming performance. So that's why I really like to recommend this phone to a lot of people. And it got its last major OS update with Android 13 One UI 5, and then it will get 3 years of security patches as well too, so just to note that. And yeah, I absolutely love that. So I think that's one of the first things that I really like about this phone. Next thing I like about this phone is definitely the screen. So this phone does have a massive 6.9-inch display. It is a 1440p display as well too. Now it is a 120 hertz display, but it can only use 120 hertz at the 1080p resolution. You can't use it at the 1440p resolution, but it's a beautiful display, 511 for the PPI, beautiful colors, and this phone is easier to hold than the Galaxy Note series or the S22 Ultra. The phones that have that sort of boxy feel to it. This is way more easier to hold, even for somebody like me with smaller hands. Just way easier, way more comfortable because of the curve. It actually just fits in the palm a little bit better, so it doesn't feel like it's sort of cutting into the hand. It does have a curved display on here as well too, which really doesn't bother me at all, but you guys can see that it's not super curved, but it's definitely there. And I think it's fine. So the display on here, absolutely beautiful. I love the curved design. I've always liked the S series design over the Note series, just because it's just not as boxy, and these are easier to hold. But massive display, tall, super bright display, very good outdoors, absolutely beast when it comes to watching content on this guy. Next, let's talk about the additional features. So this phone does have pretty much everything that you would find in an S22 Ultra, except of course the stylus support. Samsung desktop support is here, secure folders is here, pretty much everything that you would find is in here. The reverse wireless power sharing is on here. You also do have stereo speakers on this guy as well too. So you get pretty good bass on this guy, and it's pretty loud, pretty good mids and highs on here as well too. You also have a very fast under the display fingerprint sensor as well too as face unlock. So the additional features on here, it doesn't feel dated at all. It pretty much has everything that you could really want in a flagship phone. It's got IP68 dust and water resistant rating as well too. I do want to talk about the hardware a bit here. So again, I don't think this is one of my favorite designs from Samsung's flagship. I think they played it extremely safe with the S20 series as far as design. It just looks really plain and stuff like that. I don't know, and it might be this color, I think, but I don't know. What do you guys think about the design of this phone? I just think it's like really plain compared to all the rest of their designs. Just really safe design. But like I said, my favorite thing is that for a massive phone like this, it feels extremely comfortable as well too. Has a really good weight. It is a glass and metal device, and like I said, it is IP68 dust and water resistant. as well too. So it really comes down to what you think about the design. I don't know, it just depends on. I just think that it's just extremely plain looking. So the cameras were, a pretty big jump from the Galaxy S10 series as far as like sheer numbers and specs. We do have a triple camera setup on here. It's a 108 megapixel standard, a 48 megapixel periscope telephoto, and then we also have a 4x optical zoom and a 10x hybrid zoom. We also have a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and then we also have a 0.3 depth sensor. It can shoot in 8K 24, and then you have a 40 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K 60. Alright, so basically guys, this phone is pretty sweet when it comes to taking pictures. I think the cameras have aged pretty well. Now this phone had a lot of problems with focusing and a lot of issues when it first came out, with this just massive sensor. But I think this phone has aged pretty well when it comes to taking photos. As you guys can see, great dynamic range, very good colors as well too. And again, just like with any other older flagship phone, I think the only thing that's sort of dated here is if you take it out of like good lighting, it takes softer photos, especially with the front facing cam as well too. That's one thing that I really noticed. It's more so with the front facing cam. But like I said, it doesn't do as well as the newer phones in low light conditions. So that's one thing that I've noticed. But anything in good lighting condition outdoors, it takes phenomenal photos. Excellent, great detail, really good zoom shots on here as well too. It's very, very impressive camera. Like I said, you can even go up to 100 times zoom if you want to. But I think photos look really good at 10 times zoom. You can get a pretty good photo with 30 times zoom as well too. So if you like to take a lot of zoom shots, you'll really like this phone. But as far as the sheer image quality and video, I think it's still pretty solid for 2023 for sure. So how does this phone perform with battery life? This is an area where this phone performs basically like all the other Samsung Galaxy flagships. It's not bad by any means, but it's not going to blow you away. It has a 5,000 milliamp battery. It does have 45 watt charging, so which is something I absolutely love. It charges fairly quickly, so I do like that. And it does have 15 watt wireless charging and reverse wireless charging. Basically, it's basically like all the other Galaxy phones. You can pretty much squeeze around 6 hours of screen on time out of this phone, and you can get through a full day pretty easily. I've never had this phone actually die on me within a day. So I think the Galaxy S20 Ultra is a pretty impressive phone. You can get some really good cameras, very high resolution cameras, great zoom on here for a very cheap price. I think a beautiful screen on here, absolutely gorgeous screen. Even though you can't use it, the 120 hertz and 1440p, I still think it's really nice. And then gaming performance, I think it's just excellent on here. This is an awesome gaming phone for cheap. So be sure to let me know, what do you guys think, and I will catch you guys in the next one.